What is going on, everyone, and welcome back to the Bimmer barn. Today I'm going to be showing you how to replace the valve cover gasket and do a valve adjustment on your S54 motor. And this is just part of a two-part series where we're also going to be doing the vanos seals as well. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into the video. I'm going to show you what parts we need and how we're going to do this procedure step by step. And if you enjoy this sort of content, be sure to subscribe to the channel. Let's get to work. So in front of me here, I have all the parts and supplies that we're going to be using today to do our valve cover replacement, as well as our valve adjustment. And you'll see that I have some tools as well. The first and most important thing for the valve adjustment is going to be this feeler gauge. And you can see that I went and isolated the intake sizes as well as the exhaust sizes, which are a little bit different. And I did this just because I really don't use these feeler gauges for much else besides this job. All other BMW motors have hydraulically adjusted valves. Come on, BMW, why'd you let us hang on this one? But you see here that I have the valve adjustment specs, and we'll get into that later in the video. Here is a set of Wiseco replacement valve shims. These are all the exact OEM specs and sizes as if you were to buy them from BMW, but they're a little bit cheaper. And then here we have the BMW official tool for grabbing those valve shims, and you can see that it has that little magnet there for picking them up. Then we have the valve cover gaskets, and there's tons of little rings here for the spark plug tubes, and then the major gasket itself. You're also going to need a little bit of RTV for these corners right here, and I think maybe also up here by the timing cover where the vanos is. And finally, we have some shop towels because it's going to get a little bit messy today, and we also want to make sure that we put something in the motor so we don't lose any of these little metal bits when we start getting to picking them up. So let's go ahead and get to work now and start by disassembling the valve cover. So there you have it. We have our valve cover removed and now access to all the valves here that we're going to be adjusting in a minute. But if you're just replacing the valve cover because it was leaking before, then you can stop here. It's as simple as that. Remember to change the spark plug tube gaskets that are right here. There's 6 of them, and the main gasket that's lying around the outside. And you can see that there was some RTV here from factory where the front timing cover meets the head, and probably in the back as well where there's going to be that loop half moon, which is how the gasket meets in the back of the head there. So there's going to be some RTV back there and some RTV up here. But now what we're going to go ahead and do is remove a couple more things like the fan clutch assembly up here, and also I think this cover, because we need to get access to the crank pulley so that we can turn the crank and get access to each of the valves at the correct position to measure the clearance. So like I said, if you're just doing the valve cover replacement, go ahead and stop now and reassemble. But if you want to do the valve adjustment with me, go ahead and watch closely. So with the clutch fan and its shroud out of the way, we've got access to put our 32mm socket onto the crank pulley right here. And now once we put a wrench on that, we can go ahead and manually turn over the crank. And we're gonna do one camshaft at a time because they're gonna be slightly different measurements, clearances that we have to abide by for those camshaft lobes. So let's go ahead and line up cylinder 1, and then I'll show you guys how to measure out the clearances. So I also went and removed, or at least loosened, all of the spark plugs in the cylinders here because it's going to make it a lot easier when it comes to turning over the motor. But I was able to get the cylinder 1 camshaft lobes all the way at the front here in the upright position. And that's exactly what you want them to look like, is just pointed straight up at the sky. Well, away from the motor because the motor is kind of like at an angle. But yeah, now we're able to measure using our feeler gauge. And so we're going to go ahead and go by the factory specs. And we're going to be looking to fit this middle feeler gauge in there perfectly. The smaller feeler gauge should be loose in the gap, and the biggest feeler gauge that I have here should not fit in the gap between the camshaft lobe and the valve bucket. So let's go ahead and try this out real quick and see where we're at on cylinder number 1. So I'm just trying to take this larger feeler gauge, the largest 0.23mm feeler gauge, and I'm trying to fit it under the camshaft lobe for cylinder 1. It looks like the second camshaft lobe doesn't want to really go under, so the clearance there I would probably think is too small. We'll try it with the smaller feeler gauge in a second. This one right here in the front, I'm able to pretty easily get it underneath that lobe. So that tells me that that lobe is probably too big. What we'll do now is we'll take the middle gauge, the 0.20mm, and try to fit this one underneath this camshaft lobe, and it fits great, so it's not too tight. So that tells me that we're right on the spot for this camshaft lobe, but this one right here, it needs a slightly bigger shim so that we can get a smaller gap, and that way it'll be a little bit tighter. So let me go ahead and show you guys how to adjust the gap. So we're going to start by putting a couple of shop towels into the gaps here. We don't want, like I said, any metallic shims to go anywhere that they're not supposed to, that's for sure. But also we need to make sure that we have access because we're going to be grabbing the shims from the bottom here. We only need to grab this one though. And the first thing is to grab this retainer right here and literally just pull it straight up and out. And that is going to be holding these little rocker arms in place. You can kind of see it right there. I'll put an arrow on the screen, but that needs to move over to the side along the shaft that it's laid on, and that way we can get access to the shim that's underneath it. So with some better light on that, I'm just going to carefully slide it over. You can see it slides really easily. And now we should have access to get the shim from that little gap right there. Let me get the magnetic tool And I'm going to try to show you as best as I can. Get that tool in there. And there you go. So there's the little shim that we were talking about. It's right there on top of the valve itself, right on the spring. And you're gonna wanna be very careful once it's on your magic magnet tool here. But let's go ahead and measure it out and see if we can get one just a little bit bigger to reinstall in our valve. So here is our valve shim that we have here. What we're gonna need to do is grab out a caliper, make sure that it is zeroed out correctly. And then we're gonna measure the exact thickness of this shim right here. So this one's giving me a reading of about 0.23. So let's try to find one that's just a hair bigger. And luckily in this kit, they're already measured. So I said that this one was 0.23. And let's try to go with 0.232. These are labeled on the backside, so you really can't mess up them and which position they go into. But we're just gonna double check the thickness here. And look at that, it's just a hair over where we measured before at that 0.23 mark. We're a little bit above it right now. So 0.232, almost lost the shim there, but now we can go ahead and reinstall this one into that valve and remeasure it and see where the clearance is at. So reinstalling this shim can be a little bit more difficult than removing it, I will admit. You want to get it exactly in the cup where it's supposed to land and then slowly slide the tool off so that the shim stays in the little bucket in there. And now we can go ahead and put this little arm back on here. There we are. And now we can remeasure the gap. I'm going to start with the larger feeler gauge again, see if we can get this to fit through, and it will not fit through. So now let's see if we can get this middle size feeler gauge through. And you know what? It does go through very tightly, though, I will say that, similar to this one over here. So I think now we've got this one properly adjusted. We can go ahead and reinstall this retainer. And now we're done with that cylinder. So like I said, you now have a couple ways you could go actually. You could go and turn the motor over and do each cylinder on this camshaft. But actually, I'm just gonna go ahead and show you now how to do the exhaust side because the procedure is gonna be exactly the same up and down. But let me show you the exhaust side because they have slightly different measurements. And I'll just be giving you an example of how to adjust the shims over here. So we're gonna use a different set of feeler gauges, like I said, because the clearances are different for the exhaust side. And just like before, I'm going to go ahead and grab my biggest feeler gauge. And looking at all the lobes here, we have cylinder number 3 where the lobes are pointed straight up away from the motor. And you can see right here is the gap we're fitting it in. You don't want to get it anywhere else. You want to basically follow the camshaft lobe down to the bottom and then see if you can get it poked through that metal there. So it looks like it's not really making it through. We'll try this side here. You know what? This side looks pretty loose because I can get this feeler gauge all the way slid through. So let's go ahead and take off the retainer. Again, right here. Pretty easy to pull back and out. And now we just want to get that retainer arm out of the way. Slide it over to the side. Made it look really easy that time. We can get our special magnet tool. We're going to put it down where that little shim is supposed to be. Yank it up. And there you have it. And you know, honestly, guys, I just realized I forgot to move over my paper towels. But you do want to be very careful with this because, guys, there are little filters, little strains where the oil is supposed to go to the bottom of the motor. You do not want these little shims falling in there because that would be bad. You'd probably have to just pull the oil pan off because you don't want it laying around there. But anyways, we've got this. We're going to go ahead, bring it to the table so we can measure exactly how big this baby is. And it looks like I've got a measurement of about 0.21 right here. So 2.21. And we're going to go for just a size bigger. Right here I have a 2.24. So we're going to grab this one and just measure it just to make sure that we're talking about the same gap. And look, you can see it's just a slight hair bigger than the one that we removed. So we can go ahead and install this. Put it on our special tool. And now hopefully get it installed without losing it. There we are. Going to be very careful with that. And put the camshaft rocker, whatever this thing is called, put it back on. And now we can put our retainer back on as well. And of course, we cannot forget to recheck the clearance with our feeler gauge. So we're going to grab the biggest one and it does not fit back here, so that's good. We can grab our smallest one and put it in there, and it fits through that gap. So that's a good sign. So we know that the middle one, it's probably going to be a tight fit, but we could probably get it in there. And it is a tight fit, but that does confirm that we got the valve adjustment correct. And of course, if it wasn't correct, you'd be able to fit all three of these in really loosely, or they wouldn't fit at all. So from here, what I would do is turn the motor over. Now that we've got all the retainers back in place, all the valves adjusted, or at least two of them for 2 cylinders. But turning the motor over, you're gonna have 2 more sets of lobes pointed away from the motor, and then you'll be able to adjust those 2. And you repeat that process a total of 6 times, and you'll have all the camshaft lobes adjusted correctly and into spec. So that's as simple as that. Of course, if you want to see us put the motor back together, you're going to have to stay tuned for part 2, where we change all the vanos seals and then get the motor back together and get it started. But for now, we're going to close out the video here. So that's going to conclude our video for today, and I hope that you guys enjoyed watching. Hopefully you learned something as well, and this video was useful to you. If you enjoyed it, be sure to leave a like or comment down below, especially if you have any questions. I or someone else in the comments might be able to help you. And if you haven't yet, consider subscribing to the channel. As always, I hope everyone has an amazing day, and we will see you in the next video.